Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Seals Film Club. Today, we're going to be talking about some movie news. Robert Pattinson being eyed for a franchise that, already has two installments in the Dune movie. We're talking about what character he is playing and how people feel about this. I think it's a great casting. Also, I'm going to give you guys my brief summary about the Superman trailer. I did not really get to talk about it besides reacting to it. I'll give you my thoughts, what I think is going on in the trailer, and stuff like that. According to the trailer, what I do think about crypto and how much you're going to use him if it's crypto's actually Superman's dog in this. I have a lot of conspiracies. These are all just thoughts. I don't know anything about it. These are not spoilers when it comes to the Superman trailer. And then I'll give you guys also a small little quick review on the show from Apple TV called The Studio. It stars Seth Rogen, and I believe is directed all episodes by Seth Rogen. I think right now they're up to episode 3, if I believe so. Yeah, guys, don't forget hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you guys turn on the notifications. If you guys have any thoughts, leave them down below. But let's jump right into it. First, let's talk about Robert Pattinson joining the Dune franchise. Pretty much is coming to you from the Hollywood Reporter, pretty much saying that Robert Pattinson is eyed for a villain role in Dune Messiah. The actor would join Timothée Chalamet in the Denis Villeneuve's third and final Dune film. Robert Pattinson may give Timothée Chalamet a hard time in Legendary's upcoming Dune Messiah. Sources say the actor has been circling the role of the chief villain in the film, one that is possibly, I cannot say this name, a lot of people cannot, Seitel, I think it's Seitel for Frank Herbert's books. No offer has been made to Pattinson, whose call sheet includes starring in the Batman sequel for Matt Reeves and appearing in Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Like Nolan's Dune filmmaker, Denis Villeneuve is known for attracting the world's top talent eager to a chance to work with the director. Dune 1 and Dune Part 2 featured all-star cast including names like Chalamet, like we mentioned before, Zendaya, Florence Pugh, Austin Butler, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, amongst other stars like Dave Bautista. The first Dune released day and date on streaming, and in 2021, amid the pandemic, earned 410 globally, but it came out in theaters and on streaming when everyone wasn't coming out their houses. And while in 2024, Dune 2 bought 714 million globally. Let's get aside of all this that Hollywood Reporter, a lot of people pretty much saying it's not a done deal, but pretty much he is going to be the villain. I have actually heard a while ago that Robert Pattinson was talking about that he wanted to join the Dune franchise. He's a big fan of the books and I guess the original film too, so this would make sense. The character that they're saying that he is playing as a villain, his name is Seitel. I think he's a shapeshifter, and I think he would do great in this role. Robert Pattinson is a wide range actor. Mickey 17 killed it as Batman. He killed it. If you guys also seen the movie Good Time, he killed it as well. And I think that's the movie that Matt Reeves actually saw of his that made him want to bring him on and stuff like that as the Batman. But with that being said, guys, it's not finalized, but it is pretty much a thing that's pretty much a done deal. A lot of people have been speculating that the Batman Part 2 is going to be delayed. It's not going to be delayed unless if it's for something else or Dune gets pushed forward. Pushed back to a later filming. But I think the Batman Part 2 is his priority. Also, Batman Part 2 is scheduled to shoot the end of this year, and Dune Messiah is shooting in the summer of this year and stuff like that. I've never read the books, so I have no idea how much of this character, what he can do besides shapeshift, change faces, stuff like that. I think he can do such a great job. Robert Pattinson is a great actor. He's a chameleon. He can pretty much do anything he wants. And at this point, his career is popping off, man. If you guys, he was in Christopher Nolan's Tenet as well. I forgot to mention that movie. He was just in, like I said, Mickey 17. He did great in the Batman. He has a lot of movies coming up. He's coming out in a movie with Zendaya as well. He's pretty booked. He's gonna be a very, very booked person, man. He's coming far along from the Twilight Boy days. So I think a lot of people still have that idea of him. But if you watch films, he's a phenomenal actor. Phenomenal actor. Guys, don't believe the rumors that Batman 2 is getting canceled. I don't think it's getting pushed back because of this. I don't think it is going to get pushed back. There's a lot of stuff Matt Reeves is going through personally that we have kind of heard. We don't know exactly what it is. I don't know if it's something to do with his family, himself, or anything like that. But let's keep that personal stuff outside of of what he's doing with the film and stuff like that, because people's personal life shouldn't be put out like that, but the studio's being nice and letting them move around the dates as well. Also, I want to talk about this little show, not a little show, but a show on Apple TV called The Studio. I actually was working somewhere in Las Vegas Strip. This is where I'm located in Las Vegas. And actually saw Seth Rogen shooting like randomly with Bryan Cranston and stuff like that, a specific location in Vegas, and they were shooting something. I was like, oh my god, I wonder what they're shooting. So I googled it, and they're shooting The Studio. Actually, this show, it's about pretty much Seth Rogen. He's working at this it's a make-believe movie studio company called Continental. He pretty much gets promoted and running the company. Guy's a big cinephile. Seth Rogen's a big cinephile in the character. I forgot his name already. In it, he's a big cinephile in the show. He really likes movies that are based, that are well written, artsy movies, director driven. Not really about money. That's what his motto when it comes down to running the company. But he's a big cinephile. But when he takes on the job, his boss tells him pretty much, is like, hey, just letting you know, we make money, make movies that make money. We don't worry about just art and stuff like that. We want movies that make money, make really, really good money and stuff like that. So he pretty much tells it, keep the artsy, excuse my language, artsy shit out of here. We want movies that make money. And he's conflicted because he's having a conversation with a specific character in here. It's like, kind of sucks, man, because I've always wanted to make good movies, but now I feel like I took on my dream job role, and I'm doing and I'm actually feel like I'm gonna be killing cinema in the sense where everything's about money. The first task they give him is for them to make a movie about Kool-Aid, and he's like, Kool-Aid? Yeah, and he's talking about like the Kool-Aid, the big old red guy, and he's like conflicted on how to do it. The first episode, I won't spoil it, but the first episode, he does have a big director pretty much sign on to do a movie, but this director wants to, when he approaches him about how to do the Kool-Aid movie, he does it in a different way where it's based off something that happened years ago, and it's not really about Kool-Aid. And he's so excited to bring Martin Scorsese on and stuff like that, and he's very excited that Scorsese's writing it, and pretty much the people that work with him is like, dude, you can't have Scorsese come and do this movie. No one's gonna watch it because Scorsese does different type of movies. We want Kool-Aid to be this big blockbuster kind of movie. Martin Scorsese wanted to do something crazy. So that's the first episode. The second episode, great episode. This is probably those episodes that are high intensity, but if you ever work at a job where it's high intensity and things are just going, you can relate, even if you don't make movies. You guys know what I'm talking about. So pretty much the episode starts him and his co-star his right-hand man pretty much driving up, going up to a movie set. They're driving, they're having a conversation, and it's all done in one shot. This whole episode's done in one shot. And it's not those shots where it's all one long take. And sometimes you're like, dude, are they just doing this just to do this? No, like literally the camera moves back and forth when he's having all these interactions with these other people, and it's all one shot. Pretty much, the episode starts, he starts off in a car. They're talking. They go and park somewhere they're not supposed to because he's the head of the studio. And then from there, he pretty much goes in. They're telling him, like, oh, why are you doing here? He's, I just want to see how they do this movie, blah, blah, blah. And pretty much they're like, dude, you got to get out of here, man. You're going to make the actors nervous. You're like the boss. He's no, to just pretend like I'm not here. But he's wearing a suit. Everyone was wearing casual clothing. They're telling him to take that suit off. He goes and puts on this set of clothes that's wardrobe. Pretty much someone in the set needs that wardrobe that he just put on, and it becomes a cluster. Pretty much the whole premise of this is the bookcase ending of the piece of the movie that they're shooting. Pretty much he suggests on the spot to the director if he can add a scene in the movie. He's like, it's a bookcase movie, it's in the beginning, kind of sets it up in the beginning, and we'll use it at the end as a bookcase. And the director said, well, I don't think we really need it. So I end up doing it. They like it. There's a scene in the movie where I didn't catch it the first time, but pretty much there's something that happens in the beginning of the movie, something so subtle that I mentioned before. I keep saying the movie, in the beginning of the episode, that happens first, that has to do with the car, that has a bookcase at the end of this episode. And you laugh, but you don't think of it. The whole part of this episode is because he wants this bookcase for the actual scene, but it has to do with the episode within it itself. It is great writing. It is hilarious. You get kind of anxious because things are going not necessarily wrong, but if you ever work in a fast-paced job where you got a problem to fix as time is going, you really can relate. Restaurant jobs are very similar, and working at a studio, you can only do certain amount of scenes in 8 or X amount of hours, and it's stuff like that. So that was that episode. The third episode, Anthony Mackie shows up in this episode. It's not a spoiler. Pretty much is they have this director that's making this movie. I don't want to give out all the directors and stuff that show up, so I'm not going to mention everyone and stuff like that. But there's a lot of cameos which are great. This director, once it makes this movie, him and this Seth Rogen and a couple of the executives watch the movie. They like it. Once it gets towards the end, they're like, what is this last 30 minutes of artsy stuff that is actually pretty boring? So they're trying to figure out how to tell this director on how to cut it, but they respect him so much they don't know how. So everyone was like, dude, you got to do it because you're the head of this studio. This is your only job. And he doesn't want to do it. Doesn't have the guts to do it. He tries to send someone else to do it, and then they pretty much don't do it as well, and it just becomes a thing like that. The whole movie's like that. I mean, the whole episode is like that. And Anthony Mackie is a star of the movie, and he says he loves the whole movie, but then it goes up to the director's like, bro, I hate the last 30 minutes. And everyone's like, you think this too? And it becomes a whole thing. They're trying to figure out how to tell the director they hate it. Awesome episode. It is great. There is two things about this show. It is an homage to Hollywood making movies, films, but it's also, I don't want to say it, kind of saying about the best of the habits of Hollywood. People are just about money. Movie companies about money. They really don't care about quality and stuff like that. And it's also like making fun of it, to be honest. And it's great. I'm not gonna lie, Seth Rogen's best work when it comes to writing. He is great in it. I can't wait for the next couple episodes to release. I'm super excited to see what else happens later. Almost each episode is something different that happens within the movie studio, and it is awesome. And it focuses on that, and it's great. Fast paced. It's funny. The episodes go by quick. I think it is a definitely watch. I recommend it to anyone that likes movies. It is a great show overall. You'll have some laughs too as well. Alright guys, now let's jump into the Superman trailer. I'll give you guys my thoughts and what I think is going on. I'm going to be looking at the videos I'm talking, so I remember exactly what I want to say to you guys. So pretty much I'm going to kick off with, pretty much just show the first thing of, of the North Pole, which I'm pretty sure they're going to use the North Pole, unless you use somewhere else in the world where they're hiding the Fortress of Solitude. Fortress of Solitude, if you guys don't know, is pretty much... it is Superman's kind of place where he can go that's operated by Kryptonian technology, pretty much. And that is in the North Pole. The government doesn't really see it. You can tell in these trailers that Lex Luthor finds it. But let's talk a little bit more about this trailer itself. Pretty much he crash lands because he looks all beat up. He's wounded. Lungs are messed up. Kidneys are messed up. He starts whistling for crypto. My thing is, like, who did he fight that he was that messed up? Was it that guy in the black that everyone thinks is Ultraman's a copy of himself, which I think it could be him? Or did he really get beat up that bad already by someone else? I'm not too sure. I think it's Ultraman. This might be like in the first 40 minutes of the movie. Maybe Lex Luthor already made Ultraman. Let's just call him Ultraman. I'm not saying that's what his name is, but it's the guy with the black suit. But he calls Crypto. Crypto comes, bounces on him, jumps all over him. People, if you have a dog, this is very relatable. I come home to my dogs, they'll jump on me for the first 20, 30 minutes. 20, 30 seconds. I try to calm them down. They're jumping all over me. Very relatable, to be honest. A lot of people are getting kind of mad because they're like, Crypto's supposed to be smart. Super smart, has to know that he's hurting Superman. But I don't know what the situation was going to be with Crypto. Let's get into Crypto real quick. I've seen interviews of David Cornsett saying this. He's saying this specifically. It's not no one writing this that he said. He's saying this. There's a video. You guys can look it up. They're interviewing the whole cast. And he said, they asked him, does Crypto need Superman or does Superman need Crypto? He said, well, Crypto needs Superman. It's more of a foster situation. And he doesn't get too in depth. What I think, what he's saying is, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if Crypto lands on Earth later than him, or it's Supergirl's dog and Supergirl's out on a mission or doing something different and asks Superman to watch him for a little bit. And, at the end, Supergirl shows up, takes him with her, and then and then she goes on and does her movie, and that's how we get Wonder Woman, Women of Tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know, but Crypto is in Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Women of Tomorrow comic book, and I think that's what it might do, or he got sidetracked in a different pod, and he's just the way that time is different on space. He just shows up years later than Superman. And then he's just trying to figure out what to do with him. And he just has all these powers, but he doesn't listen to him. This dog, Crypto here, kind of reminds me, if you guys ever had huskies, I have 2 huskies. Me and my girlfriend have 2 huskies. They're very smart dogs, but when they're so smart, also, and they're not well trained, they're very active. They destroy a lot of stuff. Have you guys seen those husky videos of them, homeowners coming home, pet owners coming home and seeing their house destroyed? I think that's what they're gonna do with that dynamic with with Crypto. But I honestly do feel that it could piss people off because they might think that this is too goofy. And I get it. If you don't own dogs, this can kind of lean that way. But hopefully he's not too Crypto oriented. Hopefully he's just there bring light, and also hopefully I want to see him with laser beams. I don't know if he's gonna fly. He does jump super high in the trailer, but I don't know if he's gonna fly. So we shall see what they do with Crypto. What is his dynamic? What is he doing and stuff like that? Is it Supergirl's dog? Does Superman keep him? Does he only stay in the Fortress of Solitude? Where does he stay usually? At his house? We don't know. We have no idea. And then you see, of course, we've seen this Crypto drags him all the way to Fortress of Solitude. Fortress of Solitude pops up. My thing, does the Fortress of Solitude open when the Kryptonian shows up close, and then it kind of pops up? Because he missed it by no more than a mile, I would say. And then Crypto drags him over there. It opens with the Superman logo. Beautiful shot. The Superman logo seems like it glows with the sun's, power, and stuff like that, which is, I think it's awesome as well. Let me see what's the next scene. Then you see these robots. They're pretty much in charge of, Fortress of Solitude. I'm pretty sure they were programmed by Jor-El, which is Kal-El's dad, was Superman's biological dad. This is based off comic books. Pretty much he gets wounded. They drag him. They hit him with the sun, and he gets all fixed up. Very comic book accurate. I think these robots are going to be a nice little touch. I think for the most part, I like the design of it. It just still looks very computer, very CGI. Hopefully this clean this up. There's no reason. They have a lot of time to clean this up. They better clean this up. There's no reason why you're spending all this money on a movie and the CGI looks wonky. No excuse, especially for a Superman movie that's kicking off the DC. They should, clean this up. But yeah, you see, these Krypton, I don't even know what they're called. I would call them Kryptonian robots. They're in charge of the Fortress of Solitude. They pick him up pretty much. They see he's wounded. One of them, talks, picks him up, and they say that number 4 pretty much says number 12 is new. Number 12 looks at Superman. Superman acknowledges him, acknowledges number 12, and then smiles and stuff like that. Nice little touch. Superman, even though he's wounded, acknowledges the robot. Also Superman thanks the robot for helping him out. And the robot responds, "There's no need to thank me. It is I don't have no consciousness." And I'm like, oh, that's a cool touch too. But they do show in a different trailer. I mean, the ending of this trailer, pretty much, of one of them. It's one of the robots are messed up, and he's just crying, just holding it. I think that's when Lex Luthor shows up here and destroys the place, kills the robots and whatnot. That's gonna be kind of sad. You see in the background too as well. There's more robots in the background, and they're all kind of working the Fortress of Solitude. You hear whispers in the background. It's super hard to make out. It's Kryptonian talk, but you hear someone saying Kal-El.
Hey, Colonel,
Kind of does sound like Bradley Cooper, to be honest, but it can be anyone. I do think Bradley Cooper is going to be, Superman's dad. That'd be cool. Legendary actors were Superman's dad. Russell Crowe, Marlon Brando. Awesome. I think that'd be cool that he shows up. That'd be cool if he shows up Fortress of Solitude and there's only a couple recordings and his parents left them. So when he goes there, when he feels a little sad, he puts that video up, watches it. That'll be very heart touching. That'll be very awesome. I think that would be very good. Nice little touch of what his biological parents left him and stuff like that. Let's see, what else am I missing? You see beautiful shots of Fortress of Solitude. They set him down on the bed. They put those big big glass that layers one on top of the other. They have the sun glaring in it. They turn the Fortress of Solitude towards the sun, and he heals with our sun. Big debate over this. Big debate. At first, there's certain shots. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm not trying to nitpick and stuff like that, but I am gonna nitpick. Certain shots of his facial expressions see a little too much to me. Hopefully it's not too much of that, and that is David Cornsweet. Just having these weird shots. His face looks funny. I don't know if it's just his expressions. But this shot of him getting hit by the sun and just screaming because it's hurting him so bad. Big debate. Very big debate amongst a lot of people. A lot of people say it should heal him. It should not feel like that. Especially he's Kryptonian. He's strong. He should not be screaming like that. But he got broken ribs, livers, kidneys, and stuff like that. When all that is broken and it's fixing in your insides, it's going to hurt. But a lot of people saying it shouldn't hurt. It is, Superman actually flies up to the sun when he's hurt and he gets fixed and he's not up there screaming. I do get both sides. I think this is a nice touch to see how not human, because he's not human. He is a god. And I don't want them to lean towards too much towards Superman showing his fails too much, because his losses too much, and make him too relatable, because he's not relatable. He is a Superman. He is a god. Some people do fear him because how much power he has, even though he is very kind, idealistic, naive. I heard that he's going to be in this movie and stuff like that. I don't want him to just lean on that. I want to see him being a badass, because at the end of the day, you start to not lose respect for Superman, but you also want Superman to be that guy that leads the Justice League with Batman. Batman doesn't have superpowers, and people, scared of him. He is that Dark Knight, and stuff like that. And I want him to have not fear, but respect. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Hopefully he's not getting his butt kicked left and right. Maybe as Clark Kent a little bit, in a sense where, they're nailing him down, at work and at home and stuff like that. Maybe little girl problems with Lois Lane and stuff like that. That would be more relatable. And then Superman, I don't know. I'm getting everywhere right now. But yeah, that is my trailer breakdown for Superman. I give you my thoughts on the studio. You guys should definitely check that out. Let me know what you guys think about the trailer. If you guys seen the studio, let me know what you guys think about the show. And also, what you guys think about Robert Pattinson joining Dune 3. That is it for today, folks. But guys, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Leave your comments down below. Let me know if you guys don't like my theories on Superman, or what's your theories on Superman. I like to hear other people's theories. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.